How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're setting Daf Chav Tes, Daf 29 of Masechta Nazir, friends. Well, today we talk about a father being Madir his son. The father decides his son's going to be a Nazir. Ha! Oh my gosh. Alright. Okay. Well, alright. Okay. Well, we're starting the Mishnah on Daf Chav Ches Amud Beis. I don't know, about 2/3 of the way to the Amud. Chav Ches Amud Beis. It's the Mishnah. Ha'ish Madir is beno benazir. A fellow can make his son a Nazir. Ve'eno isha maderes as beno benazir, but a mother does not have that privilege. A mother cannot make her son a Nazir, or I guess her daughter for that matter. But a father can be Madir as beno benazir. No, the mother can't do his father. Mother can't be Madir the son or daughter. The father, I think, we're going to see in the Gemara, that can only be Madir his son, but not his daughter. Okay, fine. So, okay, fine. Givaldi. So, Ish Madir is beno benazir. A father can decide that his son can be a Nazir. Ish Madir is as beno benazir, but a mother cannot do the same for her son. She cannot make her son a Nazir. Ketzad. Okay, let's dig into this deeper. Now, if the son decides to heck with this, and he shaves his head, or his relatives shave his head, or he says, no freaking way, pops, or his relatives are like, yo, dude, chill out, man. This kid isn't going to be a Nazir. Take it easy on the little guy. So if that happens, well then, if the father had already set aside an animal, so meaning the father had decided his son's going to be a Nazir, there was some pushback, so he's not going to be a Nazir in that case. Well, what if the father had already set aside a animal for the son to, an animal that would be offered at the end of the son's Nazir experience? So if there was already a animal that was set aside, achatas tamas va'ola tikrav ola. So the korban, so it's three animals, right? So the chatas dies. I think we starve it to death. V'shlamim yikravu shlamim, and the shlamim will be offered as a shlamim. V'nechon yom echad v'netun lechem. Wait, what did I skip? Va'ola tikrav ola. So the korban ola would be offered as an ola. V'shlamim yikravu shlamim. And the korban shlamim would be offered as a shlamim v'nechal yom echad, and it will be eaten for one day, like the shlamim of a Nazir. Ve'enon tunin lechem, but you do not offer bread with this shlamim, even though the shlamim of a Nazir you would normally offer bread. Haylo mos sisumin. If the father had set aside money but did not specify which korbanos the money was for, well then that money can be donated for the Kaitz Mizbeach korbanos. Most miforashim, if he had gone into detail, if he had specified what the money is to be used for, what's for the chatas, all the shlamim, tmechatas yochel yom melach. So the chatas money goes to the Dead Sea. Lo nenim v'lo mo'alin. You cannot get benefit from that money, but if you did, you would not be over me'ila. Tmei ola yaviu ola u'mo'alin boin. The money designated for the ola you use to procure maybe a ola offering, u'mo'alin boin, and there is me'ila if you use this money for your own purposes, get benefit from it. Tmei shlamim yaviu shlamim. And the money specified for the shlam will be offered as shlamim v'nechon yom echad, and the shlam can be eaten for one day, v'enon tunin lechem, and you do not offer bread with the shlamim. It says the Gemara, ish in aval isha lo, my taima, para. So the Gemara says, the Gemara says regarding what the Mishnah said, which is that a father can be madir his son to be a Nazir, but a mother does not have the same privilege. A mother cannot be maderes her son to be a Nazir. The question is, my time, how come? How come the father can do it and the mother cannot? Rabbi Yochanan says, leave me alone, be'etzim. It's halacha l'Moshe Sinai when it comes to Nazir. Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina Amar Rish Lakish K'dei lechanchoi b'mitzvos. So Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina says in the name of Rish Lakish that the reason why a father can be madir his son to be a Nazir is as part of chinuch, as part of his education, to educate the young lad. He can make him into a Nazir to, I guess, teach him about Nidarim, Naziris. Iachi afilu isha nami. Well, if that's the case, then why? So then a woman should also be able to be maderes as binah to teach him epis. So kasaver ish chayiv lechanich benoi b'mitzvis ve'ena isha chayiv lechanich is binah. So Rish Lakish holds that a father is has an obligation to be mechanich his son, and a mother does not have an obligation to be mechanech her son. Bishlam Rabbi Yochanan Damar Alachi ibn Nazir. So now the Gemara is going to try to bring all sorts of proofs, I think essentially for Rabbi Yochanan in all of them, I think. So we say, Bishlam Rabbi Yochanan, I understand Rabbi Yochanan's opinion, Damar Alachi ibn Nazir, that says, leave me alone, it's Allah Moshe Misinai, ask God, don't ask me. So Amtulachi b'no in bitolo. So that's why the father can be madir his son to be a Nazir, but not his daughter. How come? Because it's Allah Moshe Misinai. Leave me alone. That's Allah Moshe Misinai. He can be madir his son. He can't be madir his daughter. Why? I don't know. Ask God. But according to Rish Lakish, who says that it's about chinuch, so shouldn't he also have to be mechanech his daughter about the halachos of Naziris and Nidarim, I guess? So k'sav b'no chayiv l'chanchoi bitoy ein eno chayiv l'chancho. Ho ho. So Rish Lakish holds that a father has a mitzvah to be mechanech his son, but he does not have a mitzvah to be mechanech his daughter, and therefore that's why he's going to be madir his son al tzchinuch, but that wouldn't be shaykh to his daughter. I think I'm a little tired. It's the middle of the afternoon. I shouldn't be so tired. I didn't sleep that much last night or the night before, but yeah, maybe that explains it. Oh well. I bought more coffee today, but I didn't make coffee since then. But maybe if I just do a babble yawn, that'll fix it. Alright, I just babble yawn. Maybe that'll give me some kick of caffeine. Not sure how. Bishlam Rabbi Yochanan, the Amar Alachi ben Nazir. So it says the Gemara, I understand Rabbi Yochanan's opinion, who says, don't ask me, ask Hashem. It's Allah Moshe Misinai. Ahochi b'Naziris in b'Nidarim lo. So I can understand why a father can be madir his son to be a Nazir, but can't be madir his son to not eat pizza. How come? Because it's Allah Moshe Misinai. Leave me alone. That's the Allah Moshe Misinai. Get out of my hair. So, but according to Rish Lakish, if it's about chinuch, so just like you can be mechanech your son about Naziris, so also be mechanech your son about pizza. So lo mibaya ka'amar. So according to Rish Lakish, you taka right. You taka right. It's not only this, but even that. Lo mibaya b'nedarim deleis le nivel. Certainly, a father can be mechanech his son about pizza, about regular nedarim, about, hey, stay away from doing such and such a thing, otherwise pizza is going to be forbidden upon you like a korban. Because in that case, just stay away from doing that thing, and then the neder won't kick in. There is an automatic deprivation. Ela afilu b'naziris, but even in naziris, the isle nivel, which there is built into it deprivation or staying awayness from things, staying away from thingness, staying away from thingism, staying away from thinking. You get the idea. B'naziris, the isle nivel, where Memele there's going to be deprivation. He's not going to be able to drink wine. He's not going to be able to become tummy to dead people. He's not going to be able to cut his hair. And even so, the father has a mitzvah of chinuch. Somebody I know has been listening to the Babylon Talmud on Masechta Shabbos. He's reminding me of jokes that I made 3 years ago. They're still funny. That's the nice thing about a good joke, is that it's funny even 3 years later. You know what the joke was? Well, it wasn't really a joke. But remember during COVID, is it still during COVID? Anyways, when I was in that sublet during Masechta Shabbos, and the Leshem Yeshiva was outside, driving me crazy. That was before shtickle sunflower people. It's not nice, but I think they eat sunflower seeds. Anyways, all right. Anyways, but yeah, that was before I started putting in the earplugs. Maybe that would have helped. Remember the sirens? The sirens would drive me crazy too. Okay, Bishlama l'Rabbi Yechanan. Okay. Bishlama l'Rabbi Yechanan. So I understand the comment to Rabbi Yochanan who says, "Hakminish kenchainik, leave me alone. It's halachah Moshe Misina. What do you want me to tell you? This is life." Azoy geitis. The Omer Halachi ben Nazir says, "Halachah Moshe Misina. Hani dekatani micha oshmichu krova." So I mean, life is good when you can just say, "It's halachah Moshe Misina. Leave me alone." So, Rabbi Yochanan's in that position to just be saying, okay, it's Halachah Moshe Misina, leave me alone. So I can understand why it says that if the son protests or the relatives protest, so then there's no longer Naziris. Ella, because that's the Halachah Moshe Misina. Ella, Rabbi Yossi Bab Chanina Mirish Lakish, Kol Kimineu Krovim, Da'amrle Lo Tigmei Mitzvahs. But according to Rish Lakish, who says that the father could be madir his son to be a Nazir al tzchinich, that he's being mechanech his son, he's teaching his son about the halachis of Nazir. So I don't understand. The father is trying to educate his son, and the relatives are coming and saying, "Don't do it." What, do they have the power to just prevent him from teaching his son about mitzvahs? To which Rish Lakish says, look, but if this is if this is a chinuch that is questionable, that the relatives aren't okay with, that everyone's raising red flags about, it's not this isn't the chinuch that is going to be beneficial for the son, that the son is going to be interested in, and therefore you can and therefore if they protest, so there's no longer Naziris, because it's clearly not chinuch. I understand according to Rabbi Yechanan, who says that the father could be madir his son to be a Nazir because it's halachah Moshe Misinai mishum achi megaleach ve'avira kafeh. That's why the son, at the end of his Nazirus, so he shaves his head, including his payas. Right? You're not allowed to put a razor to the corners of your head, and right to the payas. And but a Nazir, of course, shaves his entire head, including his payas. So I understand according to Rabbi Yochanan, who says that a father can be madir his son to be a Nazir al tzchinich, which halachah Moshe Misina, which means it's mida oraisa. So I understand he's a Nazir mida oraisa, and the halacha of a Nazir is that when the Naziris is over, you shave your head, including the payas, and that's okay because it's mida oraisa. Ella the Rabbi Yosef Reb Chanina Amar Rish Lakish k'dei lechanchoi b'mitzvahs. But according to Rish Lakish, who says that the father is only able to be madir his son to be a Nazir, not mida oraisa, but only mitzad chinuch, to teach him epis, haka'avid akafeh. But I don't understand. In order to teach his son about Nazirus, so he's being like a sort of like a Nazir wannabe. He's like teaching him just to teach him about Nazirus. He's going to be a Nazir, but not really, not mida oraisa, just in order to educate him. But then at the end of his Nazirus, the son is going to get a haircut, shave his head, including his payas. But payas is mida oraisa. How could the Nazirus, which is only, right, the father's being madir his son to be a Nazir, only mida rabbanon al tzchinich, and now we're going to shave his head, including his payas, which is mida oraisa? So Kasavar Rish Lakish holds hakofas kol arosh mida rabbanon, that actually Rish Lakish holds that shaving off your payas is actually only mida rabbanon. Interesting. Okay, v'chinuch mid'Rabbanon, and chinuch is mid'Rabbanon, v'asi chinuch d'Rabbanon v'dachi akafa d'Rabbanon, and therefore chinuch, which is d'Rabbanon, is able to override the payas, which is also midrabanan. Interesting. I'm not exactly sure why he would assume that that's the rabbanon. But Rish Lakish holds the rabbanon, and therefore chinuch the rabbanon is able to override payas, removing the payas, which is also midrabanan according to Rish Lakish. B'shlam the Rabbi Yechanan the Amar Halacha Yibn Nazir. Once again, I understand Rabbi Yochanan's opinion. He says, "Leave me alone. It's halacha l'Moshe misinai. Ahochi migaleach umaisi korban." Well, I understand then why he can. Why at the end of the Naziris, the son will bring korbanis, because it's halacha l'Moshe misinai brings korbanis. It's midoraisa. Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina amar Rish Lakish, but according to Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina, the name of Rish Lakish, kedei lechanchoi b'mitzvahs, who says that it's al tzchinich, that the father is just being mechanech his son about Nazirus. Well, then hakam aisi chulin la'azore. I don't understand. If the father is just being mechanech his son, midorabanan, it's not midoraisa, he's just educating his son. Well, then at the end of the Nazirus, when they're now going to bring korbanis, those korbanos are only midorabanan. He does not really chayiv to bring korbanis. They're not korbanos midoraisa. It's just al tzchinich. We're going through we're like going through the motions of being a Nazir to teach the son about it. But how could we bring actual korbanis now because of it? You're bringing unsanctified meat into the azar, into the Beis Hamikdash. You can't do that. You can't, right? You can only bring korbanis to the Beis Hamikdash, not fake korbanis. So Rish Lakish holds that bringing chulin into the azara is not midoraisa, and therefore, even if it's just mitzad chinuch midorabanan, it's okay to offer these korbanos. I understand according to Rabbi Yechanan, who says it's halacha l'Moshe misinai when it comes to in the context of Nazir, that a father could be madir his son to be a Nazir, and that's midoraisa. Ahochi ki mitame maisi korban tziporin. So I understand why if the son becomes tame, so he'll have to bring in ola sa'of, achata sa'of, and an asham. Ve'achil koyin melika. And if the son becomes tame, so he offers these bird korbanos, and the koyin will kill the birds with his fingernail and eat them. He will kill the birds with his fingernail and eat them. So I understand why he could do that if the son is a Nazir midoraisa. El Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina amar Rish Lakish, haka achil nevela. But according to Rish Lakish, who says that the son is only a Nazir al tzchinich midorabanan, how, if he becomes tamei, can he offer these birds? If he's tamei, how can he offer these birds? The koyin is going to kill these birds with his fingernail, which is only, killing a bird with a fingernail is not an acceptable method of shchita. It's acceptable for korbanis, but nothing else. But if, according to Rish Lakish, he's only a Nazir midorabanan al tzchinich, well then the kohen can't be killing this bird, which he doesn't really have to bring midoraisa, because it's only right. It's only Naziris midorabanan. So how could the kohen be killing this bird with his fingernail and eating it? It's not an actual korban. Kasaver Rabbi Yossi bar Yehuda, Rish Lakish holds like Rabbi Yossi bar Yehuda, the ein shchita la'of min haTorah, that when it comes to birds, there is actually no requirement of shchita midoraisa, v'chulin ba'azara lav deoraisa, and also having chulin in the azara is also not deoraisa, and therefore, according to Rish Lakish, there is no problem over here, because you have this kid who is a Nazir midorabanan. The father was madir his son to be a Nazir, and he's only a Nazir midorabanan al tzchinich, and then he becomes tamei, and he offers these two birds. And the question is, how can the kohen kill it with his fingernail and eat it? Because Rish Lakish holds like Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda, who says when it comes to birds, you don't actually have to do shchita, and therefore killing it with your fingernail is fine. And what about the fact that it's chulin in the azara? Chulin in the azara is midirabanan anyways, and this is a nazir midirabanan, and therefore it is therefore okay to be offering these birds. Now, does Rabbi Yossi really hold like this, that there's no shchita when it comes to birds, and that there's and chulin and dazar is only midoraisa? We learn in a brayso. Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda, Omer says Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda, minayin lechatas ha'ov sheiba ala sofik. So how do we know that you offer a chatas ha'of, a bird chatas offering, even in a situation of doubt? For example, if you have a zava, she's not exactly sure that she's a zava. She's not sure if what she saw would actually be considered dam. She's not sure if she would actually be a zava. And now she's a safek zava. So how do we know, says Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda, that a chatas ha'of is offered even on a safek? She'ena, wait, what? That it would not be eaten. Talmud Lomar, the pasuk says, "Va'azav ezovo lazacher v'lanekeva." It says a zav for a male and a female. Makish nekeva lazacher. We compare the nekeva, the woman, to the man. Mazacher mevi korban alavade. Af nekeva mevi a korban alavade. So just like a man brings a male fellow, just like a fellow in Babylon Talmud terms, just like a fellow brings a korban when he certainly needs to bring a korban chatas. Also, a fella would bring a korban when she certainly needs to bring a korban chatas. Umazacher may when definitely needs to bring a korban. Umazacher maybe ala safik apnikev maybe ala safik, and just like a zacher, a fellow offers a korban when you're unsure, right? It's what's called an asham talui, an asham that's brought out of uncertainty. Apnikev maybe ala safik. So also a fella would bring for a suffix. So if she's not sure if she's a zava, so then she would bring the korbanis anyways. Umazacher mimin shehu mevi alavada mevi ala suffix. And just like by a fellow that he would offer the same animal, right, the same type of animal, whether it's a certain, right, whether it's a definite korban or whether it's a doubtful korban. Afnekeva miminchi mevia alavada mevia ala suffix. Also a fella, she would offer the same species of korban, the same type of korban, whether it's for certain or uncertain, right? So if she knows for sure that she's a zava, she brings 2 birds, and if she's unsure if she's a zava, she brings 2 birds. Ima zocher mevi korban v'nechol afnekeva mevi a korban v'nechol. Maybe you'll say that by a fellow he brings the korban, the asham talui, and it is eaten. So maybe also by the fella, when she brings her birds, when she's not certain that she needs to bring them, she's not certain that she's a zava, maybe I would say that the birds would be eaten by that the chatas of would be eaten by the kohen. Omart loim omart bizacher shekein iser echad. Well, when it comes to, we say, look, when it comes to the zacher, to the fellow, bringing an asham talui, well, there's only one isser, there's only one potential isser here, which is that, well, if he didn't have to offer it, then it's potentially chulin ba'azar. Tomar b'nekeva sheshnei isurin, but by a nekeva, there is potentially 2 isurin over here. When it comes to the chata sa'of of the nekeva, if she's a suffix zava, there's potentially 2 isurin over here, and therefore, because there's potentially 2 isurin over here, the kohen cannot eat these the chata sa'of. Maishne isurin. What are these 2 isurin that we're talking about? La v'isur nevela v'chulin ba'azara. Ha 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 ha. So frekte gemore nu. What are the 2 isurin when it comes to the chata sa'of that Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda is talking about? Is he not talking about, well, The Chatas Ha'of, if she was not a Zava, well, the Kohen just killed the bird with his fingernail, which makes it Nevela. That's Isser number 1. And number 2 is that if there was no need to be bringing the bird, the Chatas Ha'of, then it's Chulin Ba'azar, Isser number 2. So it sounds like, according to Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda, he holds both that there's shchita by a bird, and therefore killing it with the fingernail would make it nevela, because it wasn't shechted. And number 2, that chulin ba'azare, right, that there's an issue of bringing chulin into the azare. Maskif la Rav Acha B'der Rav Ika, to which Rav Acha B'der Rav Ika responds, and he says, V'dilma maybe michayiv olim mishum demischazik kitrein yisurin miderabonon. But maybe, says Rav Acha B'der Rav Ika, maybe what we're saying is that the Kohen would not eat the chatas ha'of of a safek zava, because it seems like there might be 2 isurin miderabonon, right? Well, it's right, because there may be 2 isurin miderabonon. That maybe mida oraisa, you could say that Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda would hold that there is no need for shchita by a bird, and 2, there's no issue of chulin ba'azara, mida oraisa. But maybe what's happening is that we're saying that miderabonon, however, we would say that we have to be concerned about shchita by birds and chulin ba'azar, and therefore, maybe that's why the kohen wouldn't eat the chatas sa'of. But maybe mida oraisa, Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda would say that there is no shchita by a bird and there's no issue of chulin ba'azar. Okay, fine. Leimo kitano bararara. Let's say that this machlokes about, right, between Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish about the father being madir his son to be a nazir. Rabbi Yochanan says it's halachah Moshe Misinai. Rish Lakish says it's al tzchinuch. Friends, this is like real Gemara, you know. Every so often these days we have real Gemara. It reminds us of like when we used to have real Gemara. I mean, everything is real Gemara, but like Nedarim and Nazir has definitely been a little different. This is like, you know, it's not going super quick over here. It's not going as quick as some of the other dafs. We're working through it, you know. We're working. I wouldn't say we have to take our brains out, but we're working hard. The Eibishter, look, see what your kindlech are doing. We're working hard for you. All right. So lema kitanoi. So it said that the machlokas between Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish is like a machlokas between Tanoim. Ad Mosai Madir as Beno Binazir. Dara. Until what age can the father be Madir his son to be a Nazir? You know, I'm 35. Can my father make me a Nazir? I mean, Lamaisa, he doesn't even have to try, but okay, whatever it might be. Well, I still drink wine. Akoponim. My father wouldn't do that. My father loves me, you know that? Anyways. Lemikitanoi. So let's say that this is Taka Machlokas Tanoim. Ad Mosai Madir has been Benazir. Until what age can a father make his son a Nazir? Can my father make me a Nazir? I'm 35. Let's see. Okay. All right. Without giving away too much information over here. Anyways, so Rebbe says until the fellow has 2 pubic hairs. All right. I'll let you do the math. Okay. Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda Omer ad shegiel onas nedarim. So Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda says until he reaches onas nedarim. Who can tell me what onas nedarim is? Onas nedarim is 12 in a day, be'etzim. Again, I'm 35. So it sounds like my father missed his chance. As far as I know, he never made me a nazir. All right. Now, so onas nedarim is at the point when a child can already make his own nedarim. So that's 12 in a day. Fine. A son. For a girl, it's 11 in a day. Fine. So let me continue. As Benoy ben Nazir. So until what point can a father be mother his son to be a Nazir? So Rebbe says until the young fellow has 2 pubic hairs. Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda Omer says Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda until the young fellow is 12 in a day. Fine. My love, Tanoehi dododo. Let's say that it's a machlokas Tanoim. The Rebbe Savar Alochi ben Nazir ve'af agavdi igia la'onas nedarim So Rebbe would hold that like Rabbi Yochanan, that it's halacha l'Moshe Misinai, leave me alone. That halacha l'Moshe Misinai, that the father can be madir his son to be a Nazir, and even though once the son is 12 in a day, he can make his own nidarim, and the father would make nidarim for him. But nonetheless, it's halacha l'Moshe Misinai by Nazir that the father could continue to be madir his son to be a Nazir until he reached Shtei Cyrus. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda the Omar ad she'egia la'onas nidarim, and Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, who holds that the father can only be madir his son to be a Nazir until he's 12 in a day, until he reaches onas nidarim. So Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda holds that, like Rish Lakish, that the father can be madir his son to be a Nazir only als chinich midrabanan, and once already the son reaches the time when he can make his own nidarim, then the father doesn't make nidarim for him anymore, and that is why it's only until ad shegil onas nidarim. And once already he reaches onas nidarim, when he can make his own nidarim, so then the father can no longer be mechayev his son to be a nazir, to be madir his son to be a nazir. Amrei loy, they say no. We wanted to say that Rabbi Yochanan is like Rebbe, and Rish Lakish is like Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda, although maybe technically the other way around. That, I mean, obviously Rebbe and Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda were earlier than Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish, but Rebbe's opinion would be in line with what Rabbi Yochanan is saying, and Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda's opinion would be in line with what Rish Lakish is saying. Lo. You could say it both ways. So first, one way. No, everybody, one way you can argue is everybody agrees it's halacha l'Moshe Misinai like Rabbi Yochanan. Both Rebbe and Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda say it's halacha l'Moshe Misinai like Rabbi Yochanan. But the machlokas between Rebbe and Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda is with regarding to how do you view this period when the son is this onas nidarim, when he's 12 in a day, but before he's actually an adult. Rebbe So Rebbe says, look, this period, when he's 12 in a day and he can make his own nidarim, that's only midrabanan. And we're saying that the father can be madir his son to be a nazir midoraisa. So then it's a no-brainer. And because it's halacha Moshe Misinai that a father can be madir his son, so the halacha Moshe Misinai, which is midoraisa, is stronger, of course, than this onas nidarim, this 12 in a day thing where a child can now start making can make his own nidarim. That's only midrabanan. So obviously the father's ability to be madir his son to be a nadir persists until he reaches Shtei Cyrus, even though midrabanan he's already at onas nidarim. Whereas Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda holds that mufla hasamach lish is also mida oraisa, and therefore, so the halacha Moshe Misinai is mida oraisa, but also mida orai, right? So the halacha Moshe Misinai that the father can be madir his son to be a nazir is mida oraisa, but we also have mida oraisa that once the son reaches 12 in a day, he makes his own nidar. So the father can no longer make nidarim for him, because mida oraisa, when he reaches 12 in a day, according to Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda, he can already make his own nidarim, and therefore it ends there. Or you could explain both Rebbe and Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda through the lens of Rish Lakish, which is that the father can be madir his son to be a nazir als chinich, and everybody agrees that mufla hasamach leish is midir rabbanon. So therefore the father can be madir his son to be a nazir midir rabbanon, and once the son is 12 in a day, he can make his own nidarim midir rabbanon. Rebbe savar asi chinich derabban v'dachi mufla hasamach leish derabban. So Rebbe says that the chinuch that the father is providing for the child midrabanan is able to override the fact that the son can make his own nidarim midrabanan. So therefore, Rebbe says that the father can continue until the son has Shtei Cyrus. Where am I? Mufla samach lish darabanan. Rabbi Savar also chinuch darabanan v'dachi mufla samach lish darabanan. Rabbi Yossi bar Yehuda de Amar ad shegia leonas nedarim. And Rabbi Yossi bar Yehuda says that the father can only be mother a son until the son reaches 12 in a day. Kasar v'lo asi chinuch darabanan v'dachi mufla samach lish. And Rabbi Yossi bar Yehuda says that chinuch darabanan of the father does not override the fact that once the son reaches 12 in a day, he can make his own nidarim. The father can only be madir a son to be a nazir al tzchinich until the son can make his own nidarim at 12 in a day, according to Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda. Lema hani tanoi ki hani tanoi. Let's say that Rabbi and Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda are like the following tanoim. The Tanya, as we learn in the Brisa, Maisa Rabbi Chanina she'diroi aviv ben nazir. There was a Maisa with Rabbi Chanina that his father said, Chaninale, you're going to be a Nazir. Ve'avio lifnei Rabbi Gamliel, and he brought. Now they came before Rabbi Gamliel. V'hay Rabbi Gamliel bod kol leida maybe shtei Cyrus imlo evi. And Rabbi Gamliel was checking Rabbi Chanina to see if he reached shtei Cyrus, because if he already reached shtei Cyrus, well then the father cannot be madir him to be a Nazir. But if he didn't yet reach shtei Cyrus, so then the father can be. Rabbi Yossi Omer Leido Imigia Laonas Nidarim Imlab. Rabbi Yossi says no, it's not about Shtei Cyrus. We had to test Rabbi Chanina to see if he reached the point where he's able to make his own nidarim, if he has the understanding to make his own nidarim. So let's say that Rabbi Gamliel is like Rabbi, and Rabbi Yossi is like Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda. Omar lo Rebbe, and now Reb Chanina responds and he says, Al titztar levodkeni. He says, look, you don't need to look into the situation. If I am a minor, well then I'll be a nazir because my father was madir me to be a nazir. Im gadol ani, if I'm older, so then I'll be a nazir on my own volition. Omar Rabbi Gamliel unashako al rosho. Rabbi Gamliel got up and he kissed him on his head. Omar, and he said, Muvtachoni baze shemer alocha b'Yisrael. And Rabbi Gamliel said, wow, I could tell that Rabbi Chanina is going to be a Moira Halacha, is going to be a great rabbi, a posek. Amru lo hayom muat mat shehara b'Yisrael. And sure enough, shortly thereafter, Rabbi Chanina became a great rabbi and a Moira Halacha in Israel. Bishlam Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda damar chegelonas nidarim. So I understand according to Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda, who says, what's this? Rabbi Yossi the Amar. Okay. So I understand according to Rabbi Yossi, who says Achagia leonas nidarim. But if I do that, then let's keep it the same way. So I understand according to Yossi Rabbi Yehuda, who says that the father can be mother his son until he reaches 12 in a day, onas nidarim. That's why he says, look, if I'm a kohen, so then I will be a nazir because I am because I'm a kohen and my father was mother me to be a nazir. But according to Rebbe, the Amar Yavi Shtei Cyrus, who says that the father can be mother his son to be a nazir until he reaches Shtei Cyrus, v'im gadol ani eye b'shvil asmi or b'shusei davu akayim. This is a little bit confusing, but I understand that you have to, according to our school, you have to read it like this, meaning we're assuming that 12 in a day is the cutoff, right? So therefore, I understand according to Yossi Rabbi Yehuda, who says that 12 in a day is the cutoff. I understand why Rabbi Chanina says that if I'm a kohen, so then I'll be a nazir because my father was mother me to be a nazir. But I don't understand, right, because he is a kohen, but I don't understand according to Rebbe, who says that the father can be mother his son until he has reached Shtei Cyrus. And if Rabbi Chanina is saying that, okay, so if I'm less than 12 in a day, so then I'll be a nazir because my father says that I'm a nazir. But how could he say that, but if I'm a gadol, if I'm more than 12 in a day, then I'll be a nazir on my own account? But according to Rebbe, it's still in the father's ability to be Madir and to be a Nazir until he's 12, until he's reached a Cyrus, not just when he's 12 in a day. So why does he say that it's going to be on his own account? No, rather it's the cutoff isn't 12 in a day. The cutoff is Shtei Cyrus. So what Reb Chanina is saying is that if it's prior to Shtei Cyrus, so then I will be a Nazir als my father, because my father was Madir me to be a Nazir. But if I'm more than Shtei Cyrus, well then I'll be Madir myself, because I myself will be Madir to be a Nazir. So now the Gemara asks, Shtei Cyrus Meikara. So if Reb Chanina had already had Shtei Cyrus before his father was Madir to be a Nazir, Kohen Benazirus delay. Well, then he's saying that he's going to be a Nazir on his own volition. Ulvasov Kohen Benazirus davua. And if he produces Shtei Cyrus at the end of his Naziris, well then he was a Nazir because his father was Madir to be a Nazir. But what if he reaches Shtei Cyrus in the middle? What if when the father was Madir to be a Nazir, he did not yet have Shtei Cyrus, but at some point, halfway through the Naziris, let's say, he produces Shtei Cyrus. So then what? Okay, so according to Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda, who says that it has nothing to do with Shtei Cyrus, it has to do with Onas Nedarim, forget it, it's irrelevant. The Rebbe, the Amar, Achiyavi Shtei Cyrus, Ma'ikel Lemeimer, Amar the Rebbe, Amr the Rebbe, Leka Takanta di Yosef Dile Yosef de Avui. What about according to Rebbe, who says it's based on Shtei Cyrus? We say, well, according to Rebbe, he'll have to have two terms of Naziris. One 30-day Nazir experience because his father was Madir him to be a Nazir, and one 30-day Nazir experience because he himself volitionally accepted upon himself to be a Nazir. Friends, that was the Chav Tes of Masechta Nazir. We did some real stuff in this daf. We saw that a father can be Madir his son to be a Nazir, but not a mother, and it only applies to the son, not the daughter. And we said why. So Rabbi Yochanan said that it's Alach Moshe Misinai, and Rish Lakish says that it's Alt Chinuch. We then saw also a machlokas between Rebbe and Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda about until what point can a father be Madir his son. Rebbe says until the son produces Shtei Cyrus, and Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda says it is until he reaches Onas Nedarim, until he reaches the age where he's able to make his own Nedarim, which is assumed to be 12 in a day. Friends, that was Daf Chav Tes of Masechta Nazir. Hope you enjoyed. Peace out.